approve the release of historic bonds for EQT Equitrans has for various roads. So they're in your packet, but what these are is the old Mariner pipeline. There is various bonds for various roads, they're historic, they're actually expired. But every one of them was expired, I didn't find the originals. But they would like to get them off book for them, their own sake. So it's the old, the old Sunoco pipeline. They go on to Patterson, there's different heavy hauling agreements, different road boring agreements. All of them have expired back in 2019 and 20. There's not one of them that's still effective, but they would like to clear them off their books. So you have a list in your packet. There should be a list in everyone's packet there. I did locate them all.
Here, just take that. Watch what I got.
So, I'll make a motion to release the historic bonds that EQT and Equitrans has for those various roads.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
I just abstain.
I'll abstain from that one,
Okay.
Is this Sunoco or EQT?
Someone see, it's Equitrans, someone.
Sunoco, she said Sunoco.
Well, it was the Sunoco, so Equitrans and EQT the bonds are almost joint bonds, there's different contractors, different haulers, but EQT and Equitrans are like also partnered in there. So they weren't the ones doing the work, but they're different, contractors and different people so that's why they wanted them released, because they're just sitting there as a
Can
joint.
I ask one question about that?
Mhm.
Well, like EQT's over on Patterson Road now, putting a well pad in, is this gonna affect that?
They have a current bond for that
Oh,
as
there is?
well.
Okay.
You'll see on that list that
Right.
there's not one of those bonds that's
That-
even effective.
Oh, okay.
They're
Way back.
expired.
Oh, okay.
Every one of those bonds are expired, they just would like
Right.
them
Okay.
canceled out. There's not one of these bonds that we're doing this
Right.
for that even has a current.
Did we vote it?
Okay, so, any other, so, yes, it was a all day and one extension, yeah.
Shouldn't you give a reason for abstaining?
You don't have to, unless it's a conflict of interest, you don't have to.
Okay. Approve a Ringgold bus stop change from Route 837 in Gun Club Road. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Approve the change order number 2 for Veterans Park for an additional 200 linear feet of fencing to satisfy the adjoining property owner's request in regards to his easement.
What's the cost?
Well, we have that here. I think we even discussed it at the last meeting.
You did.
Question about
Yeah.
that. We tabled that at the last meeting, it's in the minutes, we
Okay.
tabled.
We have to take it off the
Left
table.
on.
We have to
Yeah,
take it
on
off the
table.
table. So do we have a motion first to remove that from the table?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, approve the change order number 2 for Veterans Park with an additional 200 linear feet of fencing to satisfy the adjoining property owner's request in regards to his easement. We did discuss the pricing at the
Yeah.
last meeting, but
Yeah, that's for
refresh
$12,600,
if you.
right?
That's correct.
Something like that.
That's the amount that change order would be.
That's correct.
Now, as much as I don't wanna spend another $12,000 at Veterans Park, I think our hands are tied as far as
This is,
his easement.
This is in regard to the adjoining property owner.
so this is where the township built on the other guy's property or what?
Right. And that fence, he's gonna put the fence and everything, it's gonna be, right, that's gonna.
So he's requesting that this fence goes up before
Right.
he gives
Right.
his easement, permanent easement.
Right, and it should be done, and then that way, we should be clear of it, right?
Until you use the easement.
Well, right.
Well,
Once the
the-
fencing gets
right.
installed and we get the easement
Right.
signed and recorded, then
Right.
yes, that's correct.
So he is the affected party is requesting this fence.
I'll make a motion to approve the change order number 2 for Veterans Park for the fence for $12,600.
Do we have a second? Okay, discussion. I have a question for you, EJ.
Sure.
How do you
Please.
feel about them getting it done? The problem I have with the change order is our history with this particular contract.
There's been very little to no progress at Veterans Park all year long, which is a grave concern, right? You know, we've touched base with Check multiple times, received multiple reasons as to why they have not completed any work.
So if we approve the change,
Yes.
and we're 12,600, whatever it is, do we have a, we give
Yeah, they
so many
were-
days to proceed? You give a notice to proceed, I guess.
So are we bound by the change order not to use someone else, because this is holding up the easement agreement for the other gentleman?
Well, that's what I'm saying, if we make this motion to approve this, and you're going to give a notice to proceed with the change,
I feel like we're.
That's correct. Yeah.
and then you're gonna give him how many days to do this? I think you should say, because you're heading into fall, right?
Correct.
So I would say, you think it'd be prudent to say, we've approved it, but you have 30 days to do this.
I feel like we're giving more work to someone that hasn't finished what he promised before.
Well, I'm just saying that if he doesn't do it, then.
They go to low bid too, right? Well, see that.
They-
Changes?
What'd you say, Steve?
They were the low bid about that fence, right?
They were, yes, they were we got we asked four or five different fence installers, received 2 quotes, Check was the lowest quote, yes.
I'll be the lowest too if I never go to the.
What's the other?
I don't have it right in front of me, but I think it was in the neighborhood of 18,000.
I was thinking 18.
All right, what I'm saying is, you can give, the township's gonna give the notice to accept the proposal, the notice to proceed, and they say you have 30 days to do this, otherwise, the proposal is being rescinded.
The penalty clause,
But those liquid damage clauses can be a problem after one.
I wanna make sure that that doesn't change because we made changes, like, that doesn't affect his. I haven't read it, but.
It's part of the bigger conversation, right? I mean, they were given 90 days when they were issued notice to proceed to complete Veterans Park. That was back in 2021.
Wow.
I mean, does making a change?
You don't, technically, you don't have to accept the lowest bidder, you have to accept the lowest responsible bidder. If you don't
I can't say
think,
he's responsible.
I do agree, in the interest of getting this done and getting a signed easement to avoid our liability,
At what point is
it's
the
concerning,
twenty
yes.
property ever
so,
gonna be met?
one second, so do you, from your experience with him, I mean, it appears he's not responsible. There's two aspects to the acceptance bid. The first is the bid response, is the proposal responsible? If it crosses that threshold, the next question is the bidder responsible? And if we've had, you're saying.
Little to no work has been done this year.
Well, then
Don't give him 30 days, give him less
No,
time.
but you don't, I'm trying to say, he doesn't appear to be responsible.
We don't give him more work.
Well, I'm saying you could sit there and say, we're gonna go with John Doe at 18,000, based upon the fact that Check has not been responsible, is not the most responsible bidder, and then go with the guy with 18,000.
And I know it's a little bit more money, but we're standing at a possible problem with the adjoining property.
I think you are.
If we don't tie this up soon.
I mean, you're saying he hasn't done little, since you've been here, he's done little.
Since I've been the engineer, there's been no pay requests submitted. I don't believe there's been any activity at the project site other than moving equipment around when we asked him to, when we were gonna start running the park.
And moving the equipment out to take to a different job.
So, based upon what
The
you're.
park's in the exact same condition as when I started
Every
here as
once in a while,
township
he moves
engineer.
the equipment out of the park, goes
So,
to a different
so
job.
based upon what you're telling me, and what you're saying, he's not responsible in terms of his conduct, correct?
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Okay. So if you wanna make a motion to go with the other person, whoever that is, do you have that person's name or whatever?
Yes.
But
I
even
might
if,
have his file here.
even if we do that, Dennis, the problem is you have to complete the fence that it's going to be attached to before you can
Right.
even do the part on the easement.
Mhm.
I don't know, what are you trying, I mean, I thought we just installed the fence.
This is attached to a
It
different
has,
fence?
you're right,
It's not
Chuck,
a
it has.
self-standing?
We just make another end post.
This is an $18,000 non-self-standing fence?
Put an end
Back
post
when,
on.
Chuck, back when we got quotes, his name is Victor, by the way, works with Red Rock Fence Company. I met him on site when we were in the process of getting quotes. He's, familiar with what we're specifying, how this would, get connected to the other fencing that's already been installed.
Can you do the work?
Absolutely, they can do the work, yeah.
So there's a fencing already up, the other fencing wasn't already all up yet either.
No, very little of it was.
Oh, right.
It's there, but
And
it's
the
not
work.
installed.
Right.
Let me put it this way, Steve, anybody could do the fence work that we're proposing to do. If they had to put another end post right beside it, they could. I talked with the contract
Right.
with him
Well,
about,
fine, I'll withdraw the motion and I made a motion to have,
Okay.
to change it, I'll withdraw it.
So,
So, who's the other person?
Mr. Spark,
No, no,
Red Rock, I think it was.
Red Rock Fence,
fencing.
for what amount?
I don't have the exact number in front of me here.
You said it's 18,000?
Can we do?
Give me a moment, I might be able to pull it up.
Alright, you rescind your, you rescind
Do
your
you rescind
motion?
your second?
Yeah, I'll rescind it, Michelle, but I want a clear understanding of why we're doing all this. The gentleman who's out there, the contractor, Palachuk from Elizabeth,
Privacy contents have been updated.
that crap out there has been labored what, for 3 years?
At least.
Here's the thing.
And all the money that's been sunk into that part. And there's another example of what the hell's been done. Quite a bit of money has been invested out there already. Now we're going with another contractor just to have the original fencing installed plus the extension.
No,
No,
just the extension.
what we're discussing now, Larry, is just the additional fencing which was requested by the adjoining property owner to, as a
Right.
means to,
Yeah, I
Resolve the
understand the
property.
problem out there.
Okay, you won't be doing the original that Flapjack was supposed to do it.
right.
You'll just be doing that, what we have to do because the park's sitting on the neighbor's property.
Right, correct. Is
What
Palachuk done what he's supposed to do
No,
insofar as the fencing is concerned?
Not insofar anything,
Nothing.
nothing.
no, Larry, he is not. Dennis, the total for Red Rock is $18,573.
18,500?
573.
So if we do not to exceed 19, then
Oh,
it's
no.
definitely gonna cover the end of the end.
Well, he gave a proposal.
Yeah, but his was connected to the fence at Flapjack, now he's gonna have to put self-standing posts on each
Is
side.
that true, is that accurate?
That's
Just
what
one.
he's explaining.
So if he has to put another thing on, it's gonna be additional money?
Well, you have to have two end posts, because he was connecting that to
Right.
what Flapjack was putting in.
Right.
So there's no end posts.
3-inch end posts are in the proposal
Oh,
already.
they're in it, good. So it's
So,
self-standing,
do you have any problem going to
doesn't
supervisor?
rely on anything.
This is an independent proposal to do the work we've asked.
I personally think that will avoid possible litigation with the property owner.
So, what do you, Chuck, what do you think?
No, I fully agree, we'll have to go ahead with the fence. My concern right now is we're gonna have to probably, if we don't get it done within the next month, we're probably gonna be looking for a new contractor to finish all the fencing we've got there next year. Now, you know as well as I do, the problem is, it's government work. Because if I wanted to, I could have a contractor out there next week putting fencing on, that's not going to be the problem. But we're gonna have to go through the whole process of bidding and doing everything else like that than we had to do before. Now, I do know he still had a bond left, did he not, for 128?
Performance bond?
Is the
Performance
performance
bond was
bond?
volunteer?
Yeah, there's a performance bond in place.
So we're gonna have to be looking at all of that then.
Do we have the original performance bond here, Michelle? We do?
There's a binder on this.
Okay. So you have a problem going with this red rock or black rock?
Well, the extra 6,000 might be split out for just a floor.
It would be cheaper than keep negotiating with his property owner
That's a concern I have, is the guy might, if he agrees to it and you let this thing, language.
We shouldn't have absorbed any of it, like, we shouldn't have had to absorb any of this, but we're in a predicament where we have to park partially on someone's property. And he's being nice enough to give us the easement, but what he wants is that thing.
Larry?
Yeah, if you're stuck in a corner, the bid threshold's what, maybe 22,000,
22,500.
22,500? You have one proposal?
We have two.
We got two.
12,000 and
18,000.
But 12,000 is correct, Jeff.
18,000.
Acting responsible. I don't think he'll ever get the fence up either. He might as well bid $1 if he's never gonna do it.
18,570.
573.
Mr. Barnum?
Yeah, can I make a suggestion? This time last year, Harshman and myself sat down with Mr. Blabchak, and we were on a path to get it finished. Is it possible to maybe go back with TJ and a couple supervisors to sit down with them and see what is the holdup?
That's happened.
We did that in
We've already
January,
done
Mike.
that.
We talked to the guy in January. I've emailed him a couple different times. I've gotten a couple responses that they've had issues with staffing, that they've had issues with operators and their health.
I got the
Funerals.
same story a year ago,
So-
so, you know, I just know that if you're going, like, if you pursue bond, because we looked at that, if you're going to pursue going after the bond, it's gonna drag out in court and that thing will never get done.
Yeah, that's the last thing we wanna do, but
I bet you it hasn't.
we're getting no
I
performance.
bet you if you went down there, it hasn't changed one bit since you were talking to him, not one. They moved equipment out to take it to other jobs, using excuses that they had funerals and deaths and things like that, but it seems like the only time the equipment moves is to take it to somewhere else. It's like we're storing their equipment.
Okay, the best thing to do is to figure out, look at the contract, figure out what still needs to be done.
Which we have that information. We have their most recent pay estimate. We know the work that's outstanding.
It's the same work that was outstanding a year ago.
Does the township supervisor have a list of what's outstanding about this?
Yes.
Well, I think, Mr. Barnett, I think the question is, we have concern with the gentleman next door, because this park was built, I understand, partly on his property. And I think my concern is, I don't wanna, he's agreeable to an easement, and I'm concerned he may just say,
If we do this by change order and Clapcheck thinks that the case he's taken, then this gentleman may decide to rescind his deal. And if we do it by just hiring a different contractor, at least get the fence up for him, we can secure that easement, at least be done with that part. Whatever goes on with Clapcheck, at
That's it.
least he would be satisfied.
He placed a bid, I mean, he put a bid in to complete the work, or to do that portion of the fence, right?
Only as a change order. Recently, we had him and other contractors bid it out to do it. But he hasn't even put the original fence in, it's been sitting down there in a pile for a year.
it should happen, really, it should.
Do you still hold retention on the original contractor?
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh? Think How much?
Have to go in and,
Well, was it 5% of his, proposal, 10%,
I think
pretty
it's 10.
standard?
I think it's 10. I'm pretty sure it's 10, but.
I don't have his most recent pay estimate in front of me, Mr. Spear, but I believe the balance of work remaining to be completed was in the neighborhood of 150,000, and they're still holding
Why didn't you
retainage
put
on
15
top of
grand
that.
fence up?
They're
How
still
come we
holding.
didn't notify him, say, you have so many days, okay?
We tried that.
They
People-
did.
Try that.
They
It
did.
was actually supposed to be complete on July 15th.
You can force him to leave it, do it.
And this, adding this portion of the fence with him to satisfy the easement is giving him more work, not holding him, you know, whatever we do about holding his feet to the fire on the original. I'm hesitant to go into adding more to something that's not doing anything.
So, okay, so does it, so you're, Larry, you in favor of going with Red Rock? Is that what we call
Larry?
it? Michelle, you in favor of Red Rock?
I am in favor
Steve,
of
you in favor of
Red
Red
Rock.
Rock?
Are you in favor of Red Rock? That's done?
Yes.
Well, we're gonna have to, I guess, I mean, it's more money, but I would hope we could have did something with Blackjack to get him to do it, but we can't, we gotta
We
get
can
that
get
done.
to
so
get
we
the
don't have to
original
eat.
work done,
Right.
get a loan to
Right.
add more to it.
Right.
All right, so,
Okay,
is there,
so-
let me help you phrase this motion.
We already, yeah,
Okay, because we rescinded the other motion.
yeah.
We rescinded it, right.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the proposal from Red Rock in the amount of 18,573 to place 200 linear feet of fencing
Status.
to satisfy the adjoining property owner's request for easement?
I will make
So,
that.
wait, no, I'm not done yet. Subject to the following statements. That Kurt, the project has not been responsible, is not the lowest responsible bidder. Since project has failed to perform on a timely basis to complete the work. Okay, you have to have that language, okay?
Okay.
Do
I
we
will
have a
make the-
punch list of the work that needs doing?
Yes.
After you're done, that's the next thing I think we need to figure out. We may should put that on the next meeting is have the punch list and have the contract, have what was supposed to be done and what's still outstanding. I don't recall, I don't remember, but, okay, but let's go to the motion we have on the plate. thing,
Which
right?
is to hire Red Rock, Redstone, Red Rock.
Is it red, it's red rock.
Red Rock,
Redstone is a big company.
Red Rock,
Redstone's also a candy company.
$18,573, subject to the lab check is not the lowest, okay.
I dictated it. I saw you
Yeah,
write it.
I did, but now subject to the fact that lab check is the
So-
lowest not the lowest responsible builder due to the failure to perform in a timely manner.
Correct. All right, that's the
That is
magic
my
language.
motion.
Okay.
Who is business?
Is bond,
Who's contract?
well, that's a,
That's a whole separate motion.
turn it
This
over to
is about
somebody
the
else.
fencing.
well, that's,
something to do with
what
fencing.
the gentleman over here said, I think we need to do is look at the contract and then see basically what's been done, what's outstanding. Then we need to take a look at the performance bond and maybe even execute on the if I give those to performance bond, that might get the guy off his ass.
He's probably not paid yet.
But,
But he also has a performance bond.
but just to be clear, what we're voting on tonight has nothing to do with his original contract. This is an additional fencing that's not in his contract. It's whether or not he's a responsible bidder in this additional fencing
this
due to the
addition.
failure to perform.
To be,
Timely fashion.
to be considered for
Okay,
that.
Right.
so that was my motion was, for Red Rock due to those reasons. Do we have any seconds?
Second.
Is there any other discussion on this?